Welcome to the April 10, 2024 regular meeting of the Chino Valley Fire District Board of Directors. The time is 4:33 p.m. I will now call the meeting to order and take roll, and we are all present. Board members, please make sure when you comment your microphones are on, and remember to talk directly into the microphone. The Board of Directors will meet in closed session to discuss the following items. Public employee pursuant to Government Code Section 54957, public employee dismissal, release, retirement. Conference with labor negotiators pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.6, agency negotiators, special legal counsel John Paquette, Atkinson, Anderson, Loya, Rude, and Romo. Fire Chief Dave Williams. Human Resources Director Anthony Arroyo, and Finance Director Mark Shaker. Employee organizations, Chino Valley Professional Firefighters, Local 3522, Safety Unit. Teamsters Local 1932, Non-Safety Unit, and Unrepresented Management, Confidential, and Part-Time Employees. Do we have any public comments on the closed session items?
We have no request to speak.
Okay. I will now adjourn the open session to closed session. We will return to open session at 6 p.m. Welcome to the April 10, 2024 regular board meeting of the Chino Valley Fire District Board of Directors. The time is 6 p.m. and we will now begin the meeting and take roll. And I see we're all here. Isaac, would you please report out of closed session?
Thank you, President Luth. So out of this evening's two closed session items, on the item for closed session, public employee dismissal, release, retirement pursuant to Government Code Section 54957, the board voted by a 5-0 vote to approve a resolution approving an industrial disability retirement for a retired employee, and there's no closed session otherwise out of this evening.
Thank you. If you'd all please stand and join us in the flag salute and remain standing for the invocation, and Vice President Ramos Evinger, if you would lead us.
Please join me in saluting our great flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. Let's pray. Father, we thank you for this evening, Lord. We ask that you be in the midst, Father. May you fill this room with your Spirit, Lord, and fill each and every person here with your Spirit, Lord, and just give them the wisdom and the knowledge to deal with every situation that's on the agenda tonight, Lord. May you just show yourself to us, Father. Lead us, guide us, protect us, Father. So we just thank you for the council. Thank you for the board. Thank you for the department and everybody here tonight, Lord. We just ask that you, again, be with them tonight, be with them as they leave this place, Father, and just continue to strengthen each and every one of them each and every day. So we love you. We praise you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
The next item on our agenda is presentations and announcements. The first item is a proclamation, National Donate Life Awareness Month, and we invite Donate Life Ambassador Robert Ralston to please come forward.
National Donate Life Awareness Month is a time to highlight the importance of organ, tissue, marrow, and blood donation as life-giving acts of compassion. With over 110,000 individuals nationwide and 23,000 in California on the organ transplant waiting list, the need for donors is critical. Donation can save up to 8 lives through organ donation and heal the lives of more than 75 others through tissue donation. Last year, organ donors saved a record-breaking 46,000 lives, emphasizing the impact of donation on saving lives. The Chino Valley Fire District recognizes National Donate Life Awareness Month by raising flags at all fire district facilities throughout the month of April to promote awareness. On behalf of the Chino Valley Fire District Board of Directors, I do hereby proclaim April 1 through 30, 2024 as National Donate Life Awareness Month, and I am pleased to present this proclamation to Donate Life Ambassador Robert Ralston.
So good to see you, buddy. Yep.
Thank you very much.
Hi. My phone reminded me this week, this is the 10th proclamation I've gotten from the fire district, and the 10th time we've done the flag raising. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for all you do. Saving lives on a regular basis, and then saving lives exponentially through raising awareness to organ donation. Like, first of all, thank you very much, Chief. So appreciate your friendship, and Harvey, President, Mike, and Sarah, and a lot of the members that I've met over the years, and you guys have always been so wonderful at helping to raise awareness and raise the flag for Donate Life. My life was saved by organ donation 12 years ago, last December. So this December 18th will be 13 years since I got a life-saving liver transplant. It's a long story, but it started off with hernia surgery gone bad that turned into sepsis and a staph infection that went undiagnosed for 6 months. When they finally figured it out, it was too late. My kidneys were on their way out and my liver was toast, and I went right on the liver transplant list. And I got my life saved by a man from Tennessee. That was my organ donor. I was so sick. I was going through, you just can't believe it. I had 12 liters of fluid tapped off my belly every Thursday. 12 liters, you know what that looks like? You know how big a 2-liter bottle of soda is? Hold 6 of them in front of you, stretch your skin over it. That's what happened. That's the way I was drained every Thursday. 12 liters of fluid. I couldn't sleep. I had to sleep sitting up. I would have suffocated if I laid down. I'd go into a coma for a week at a time. And at the end of a doctor's appointment, my doctor looked at Sue and I, and he said, Mr. Elston, you get your affairs in order. You got about 6 months. Time's running out. And I'd been on the transplant list for about 2.5 years at that point. So, by the grace of God, modern medicine, and a man from Tennessee, I got a new liver. And as soon as I did, I became an ambassador to make sure more people get lucky like me. Every day, 23 people are going to die before the clock strikes 12 tonight because they're going to run out of time. Phone's not going to ring for them. It rang for me. So a visual of that would be the Los Angeles Coliseum. There's that many people nationwide waiting for the phone to ring. Over 100,000 people are waiting for the phone to ring to get a life-saving transplant. So, on a lighter note, I started this program about 5 years ago with Donate Life. I was trying to be impactful with my Department of Motor Vehicles. I have 3 DMVs that I do presentations for quarterly where I keep them motivated, and because 99% of the donations come from the pink dot on your driver's license. I hope everybody here has got a pink dot on their license. So with that being said, I wanted it to be more impactful when I went to my DMV presentations. So I asked one of the ambassador leads about 5 years ago, can you give me some numbers, some local numbers of what's going on in my neighborhood with my DMV in Laguna, my DMV in Fullerton, my DMV in Pomona? How are the numbers working out? Well, you know, if I can get, that's like instant gratification. You can tell somebody at the Laguna Hills DMV that Irvine Medical Center saved 100 lives. You might have been the one that got somebody to sign up. You may be the reason 8 people's lives were saved. So with that being said, this is a report card. In 2023, the Gift of Life saved 1,840 lives in our area. This is in One Legacy's area, which is Greater Southern California. There was 178 heart transplants. There was 833 kidney transplants. There was 422 liver transplants, 357 lung transplants, and 19 pancreas transplants. This wasn't happening 10 years ago. There was also 1,000 440 people who got their eyesight back. So 158,925 people's lives were healed through tissue donation. Our daughter Tanya broke her neck in a car accident. She's got human vertebrae in her neck or she'd be paralyzed. So that pink dot saves lives. And it's all about awareness. This right here is public awareness at its finest. The flags that the fire district and the chief are doing all over the whole valley here is amazing. So thank you guys so much. This proclamation will go up at the Run Walk, California, Donate Life Run Walk is at Azusa Pacific College on April 27th. And on that day, every proclamation will be proudly displayed by every city, fire district that participated in this awareness program. There'll be 10 to 15,000 people there for this 5K run walk. Eunice Uloa, a dear friend of hers last year, got a lung transplant. And they're gonna be there with a hot air balloon on a tethering people up, giving them free balloon rides and bringing them back down. Cynthia Moran's younger brother Chino died and saved 5 lives about 4 years ago. So it touches us all in ways that are exponential, and it never stops. And it's getting better and better. But thank you very much. All right, thanks.
The next item on our agenda is a retirement recognition, and we invite up James Edward Jenkins to please come forward.
All right, James Edward Jenkins is a lifelong native and was born at the former Norton Air Force Base in San Bernardino. He began his tenure with San Bernardino County Department of Airports in 1991 when he was hired as an airport maintenance worker, and later competed and was promoted along the way to airport maintenance supervisor, airport operations supervisor, Chino airport manager, assistant director of airports, and in 2012 was appointed as director of airports by then County Chief Executive Officer Greg Devereaux. After 33 years of service with the County Department of Airports, Mr. Jenkins will be retiring in June of this year. Throughout his 33 years of service with the county airports, James has encountered his fair share of incidents and situations that at times required him to act quickly. While serving as the Chino airport manager, James had to spring into life-saving action when a Chino airport tenant fell ill and became unresponsive. The tenant, Mr. Tom King, was discovered unresponsive by his daughter Tina, who ran into the airport office that morning and reported her father's condition to James, who at the time was a certified aircraft firefighter and had been trained in CPR and first aid. He quickly told the office secretary to call 911 and ran about 100 yards to where Mr. King was lying and found him slumped over inside an aircraft and noticed that he had vomited, was gray in color, and not breathing. James carefully and quickly removed Mr. King from the aircraft, cleared his airway, and began performing CPR. Within 30 to 40 seconds, James noticed that Mr. King's color began to return and that he began to respond to resuscitation. James continued CPR for another 2.5 minutes or so until the Chino Valley Fire District firefighter paramedics arrived and took over. Because of James' training and quick action, Mr. King survived the incident, and James was later recognized for his heroic life-saving effort by the San Bernardino County Board of Supervisors in 2003. Aside from his notable heroics, James encountered some unusual situations early in his managing career at the Chino Airport that were somewhat unrelated to general aviation, but still a part of his duties of managing an airport, such as a radium cleanup order stemming from an enforcement action by the Environmental Protection Agency on an airport tenant, and then a few years later, the discovery of 55 napalm barrels buried underground on the southwest region of the airport where Southern California Edison Air Operations now houses its helicopter fleet. James quickly learned that managing the environment, the expectations of the tenants, and the county's best interests is a fine balancing act that requires working and negotiating with various types of shareholders. Inheriting the radium and napalm incidents as the airport manager and assistant director at the time, James worked and collaborated with federal, state, and local agencies and regional authorities in the radium cleanup and the abatement action, and coordinated with the military explosive ordnance disposal at the 29 Palms Airport, and arranged for the napalm removal as part of a military training exercise. The radium cleanup took about 2 years to resolve due to the decontamination process of hazardous waste and the involvement of other tenant exposure that occurred on the airport. The napalm incident was much quicker and was cleaned up in about 6 or 7 weeks because the military treated it as a training site. As the napalm incident was getting resolved, a groundwater cleanup and abatement order arose at Chino Airport, and James was concerned the napalm may have been the source of the contamination. It was determined that the napalm and the new groundwater contamination were not related. Mr. James has worked alongside federal, state, and local agencies, local authorities, tenants, commissions, county staff, elected officials, the general public, and members of the aviation community, including pilots, mechanics, flight schools, and the aviation businesses. James has served the public with distinction and has earned the respect of his colleagues and stakeholders with integrity and knowledge, and has a calm, steady approach to any crisis. I would add humble, too. As a leader, James believes you never know what you don't know until you are put in the roles of making a decision. The San Bernardino County Department of Airports includes Apple Valley Airport, Baker Airport, Barstow Daggett, Chino Airport, Needles Airport, and 29 Palms Airport. Through Mr. Jenkins' leadership, the Department of Airports has become a vital and strategic asset in the communities surrounding each airport, and includes aviation refueling, mechanical services, aviation training and sales, with the smaller desert airports used for transporting emergency supplies and services, and are also used for touch-and-go landings for pilot and student training. Apple Valley and Chino airports provide economic benefits by employing hundreds and generating millions of dollars in local revenues annually. After retirement, James plans on continuing his passion for public service by volunteering his time to help the elderly in his community maintain their homes and property. Also high on his priority list is to restore his high school 1968 Ford Mustang. Nice. Throughout his career, Mr. Jenkins has been an executive member of the American Association of Airport Executives Southwest Chapter and president of the Association of California Airports from 2008 to 2011, along with being a certified firefighter by the American Association of Airport Executives in 1995. Please join us in congratulating James Edward Jenkins on his retirement.
Before we let James speak with that kind of resume, I just want him to know that we're handing out resumes, and if he's not really done. But sometimes people come along in your life, and they're mentors to you, and they don't even know that. Mr. Jenkins' high professionalism and his articulation of his thoughts and his humble nature have been really a testament to me. I haven't worked with him many times, but the times that I have over on large incidents, we had a large fire at the hangar, just his calm demeanor. So it's no surprise to me. I wasn't aware of his background, but it's no surprise to me that the way he handles and conducts his affairs is really we just read it in his resume. So thank you very much. We're going to truly miss you. We do think that you have a good replacement from what we can tell. He's no James Jenkins, but we'll get him there. So
Yes.
Thank you very much.
just a couple of things.
Thank you. So, well, when you hear these things written about yourself, it's interesting, and you kind of reflect on some of the things that have occurred over time. 33 years, when I tell people, I've responded to in excess of 400 aircraft incidents, they say, oh, that's a lot. That's just 10, 12 a year. So it's not a lot over the course of the number of years. But one of the ones that does stick out came early in my career. I think I was 2 years in, is before I became a certified firefighter. And I don't know who might remember, but there was a battalion chief whose name was Ron Stumpf. And Ron was BC for Chino Valley. And we had an incident out there one evening in the winter. Days were short, aircraft took off, lost power. The aircraft took off over the runway, came back, and pancaked in, boom. And I was out on what we call the ramp, just kind of watching the activities, and so I was the one that was first to go out after about 3 days' rain. So I took my vehicle out as far as I could, and it got stuck in the mud. Called emergency services, ambulance came, got stuck in the mud. Fire department came, they were smart, they stayed on the ramp. Stayed on the ramp. Had another unit that came in, a police department got stuck in the mud. And so about 9 that evening, we finally got smart and we got a big rig wrecker out to pull all the units out. And Chief Stump gave me a nickname that was Mudslide. Thank you so much for this. I appreciate it. My tenure and service to the county has been quite fulfilling, and I appreciate being able to serve the residents of the county of San Bernardino. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, we're gonna take about a 5 or 10 minute break here, so we'll get back at 6:30. So if anybody needs additional pictures or whatnot, let's do that at this time. Clerk of the board, do we have any changes to the agenda?
We have no changes to the agenda.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is public communications. This is a time and place for the general public to address the board of directors about subjects that do not appear elsewhere on the agenda. The public may address items on the agenda at the time addressed by the board. Due to board policy and Brown Act requirements, action may not be taken on any issue not on the agenda. When you address the board, please state your name and address prior to making your remarks, and please limit your comments to 3 minutes. I have no written request to speak under public communications. Is there anyone present who would like to address the board under public communications at this time? Seeing none, the next item on the agenda is the liaison reports to Fire District, and we invite Suzette Dang from San Bernardino County, 4th District.
Good evening, President Luth, Vice President Ramos-Sevinger, Directors Chief Williams, Deputy Chief, staff, and our Chino Valley audience members. Suzette Dang with your County Supervisor Kurt Hagman's office. And yes, I do have a pink dot, and everybody should. I also have family members who have had kidney transplant, thanks to the donors, so it is very important. Also want to say thank you to James and congratulations on his retirement. And Supervisor Hagman's annual job fair and expungement event is coming up on Wednesday, May 8th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Ontario International Airport, Old Terminal 1. And the address comes up as 1940 Moorway in Ontario. We have partnered with our county workforce and law offices of Public Defender, Ontario International Airport, and the City of Ontario. Attendees will have chance to network with large group of employers as well as resources, and such as preschool services, veterans affairs. We also have transitional assistance coming up for the resources, and many others. And we will be adding more resources as it comes closer to the event. QR codes and maps are on the flyer. They're in the back, and you can also call 1-800-451-5627, or you can always contact our district office at 909-465-5265 for any questions. And I want to remind everyone to be sure to dress to impress and bring copies of your resumes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we invite Mayor Pro Tem Karen Comstock from the City of Chino.
Good evening, board members and staff, and chief and command staff. Thank you for allowing me to be here today to share some relevant news and exciting upcoming events for the City of Chino. starting with Residential Community Cleanup Day. All residents are welcome to take part in the free Residential Community Cleanup Day happening Saturday, April 13th from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. at 13793 Redwood Street. This event is a collaboration between the City of Chino and Waste Management and provides an opportunity for you to clear out unwanted household items, including furniture, electronic devices, green waste, and more, in an environmentally friendly manner. Remember to bring a California ID or a utility bill as proof of residency. Please note, hazardous materials will not be collected at this event. For more information, contact Waste Management at 1-800-423-9986. The long-awaited and annual Corn Feed Run Car Show and Cruise. Gear up and save the date for the Corn Feed Run Car Show and Cruise taking place on Saturday, April 27th from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Chino City Hall. Hosted by the Chino Kiwanis Club, enjoy a day filled with magnificent classic automobiles as they parade along a 13-block route. Accompanied by live DJ performances, the event also features booths for local vendors in both crafts and foods. It's an excellent event you won't want to miss. Visit www.chinokiwanis.com for more details. The State of the City. We also invite everyone to celebrate Chino with us during the annual State of the City address on Tuesday, May 14th at 6 p.m. at the Chaffey College Chino Community Center located at 5890 College Park Avenue. During our State of the City, we will outline the city's accomplishments over the past year and offer a glimpse into Chino's bright future. This year's theme is From Heritage to Horizon, which captures the essence of our town moving forward while also paying tribute to our roots. Visit cityofchino.gov/SOTC for more information, and we hope to see you all there. With that, that concludes my report, and I'm available for any questions the board or staff may have.
Quick question, Karen.
Yes, sir.
Since I was going to announce this during my comments. But since-
You can thank me for doing your report for you. Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, thank you. No problem. But since I was at the Chino Men's Prison meeting yesterday,
Yes.
and since you're the former police chief, I'd kind of like to get your opinion on the situation now that they're clearing out all the San Quentin condemned death row inmates.
So
And-
one of the-
And there's,
yeah.
hang on, we have 14 now, and they're sending another 9 this month to Chino's prison. We'll have 23 of the death row inmates. Is there, what should the public what's your thoughts on it?
So one of the things that always pleased me as a police officer is I always thought that I had great job security into the future, as well as the fire department, and this type of situation is no exception to the rule. When I was still working as the chief of police, I actually sat as the Region 15 rep for Cal Chiefs. I had an opportunity at the time when Governor Newsom was running for governor the Cal Chiefs Board to interview those candidates, one of them being Antonio Villaraigosa, Mr. Newsom himself. At that time, he clearly expressed that he thought that the state of California had a failed correctional and rehabilitation system, and he intended to close at least one prison in the state of California when he got elected as governor. Cal Chiefs actually did not endorse Governor Newsom. We actually endorsed Antonio Villaraigosa, and Governor Newsom has not forgotten about that. That being said, he's delivering on his promise to not disclose one, but now he has actually elevated that request to 2. And San Quentin, as you can understand, where it is located at that location, it's a very valuable piece of property. It's one of the original 12 prisons. It is in a state of deterioration. So that was one of his, on his targets, even back in the day before he was appointed to governor. That being said, some of those prisoners and those inmates that are on condemned row have been there the longest. I would say they are some of the worst of the worst. And I am extremely disappointed in the Department of Corrections for transferring those prisoners to a clearly failing to an institution such as the California Institute for Men. There are many institutions throughout the state of California that are newer and better equipped to handle that type of level 4 yard prisoner versus what we are now consider a level 2 yard at CIM because of the aging of CIM. It is full of ongoing deferred maintenance. It is failing in many ways. Our last escapee from that location knew that the shaker fence had been failing. There is a ongoing list of deterioration at CIM that is not new to anybody. We've had our own incidents with this. It's extremely concerning to me, Board Member Howie. I do believe that we do our fair share. We have a women's mental institution at CIW. Of course, they're placing one at CIM. We have our own mental institution in town. to care, and we're not any form of NIMBYism in any way. But regretfully, the Secretary of Corrections and the Department of Corrections does not feel like they have to consult with any community prior to taking this action. We did not know of it, we weren't aware of it. They just took it on their own without any notification to us whatsoever. I think that is terrible on their behalf. Not that we would have stopped them, but certainly in being more transparent, I wish the Department of Corrections would take a different approach when they do that, but that has been my experience in working with them. As you can see, I have an opinion about these things, including their hospital. I want to be a partner with the California Department of Corrections. They've existed here longer than most of us, but I would appreciate more transparency from them. The other thing is, the biggest concern with these inmates, aside from their classification, is they essentially have nothing to lose. And it's no secret that the California Institute for Men, because of its inception, was designed to be a prison without walls. It was never designed to be a prison because of its footprint to really house these type of inmates. Has it morphed into that? Have they tried to do that to it? Yes. But to me, really, it's one of the least desirable locations to put these classifications of inmates. Lastly, these inmates will be transported routinely in and out throughout our community. They will also be transported to local hospital facilities. They will go to local hospital facilities when they need these things. And we will need to work closely with, Chino Valley Medical Center or other places that they could end up to make sure that they understand, including Arrowhead Regional Medical Center, that you're dealing with a potentially very, very dangerous person in transport. And everybody knows that transporting these types of prisoners is very dangerous and very risky. So we have our work cut out for us in receiving some of those inmates, and I expect that we will receive more. But the good news is we have a phenomenal public safety component here in the Chino Police Department, as well as with our Chino Fire Department. And when and if the time comes where we have to deal with those issues, including escapes or different things, the fact of the matter is we have a well-trained police department, along with our partners in fire, to deal with those issues. So I'm sorry to be so lengthy about it, and so regretfully knowledge about the subject, because when I first started working at the Chino Police Department, it was shortly after Kevin Cooper, not too many years after Kevin Cooper had escaped and landed himself into Chino Hills. And I was actually responsible as a young person for giving 1 to 2 tours each month of the California Institute for Men. I'm very familiar with the operation there as a young person. I've had lunch in there. I was there when they still made their own ice cream and still had a farming component. I do understand that institution quite well, because I've been in and out of it since I was 18 or 19 years old. So it's regretful, but we had an audit of CIM at one point. Essentially, what the auditor said at that point several years ago is that the state of California had to put approximately $20 to $25 million a year into the California Institute for Men just to maintain its current state of affairs, and that was about 20 years ago. Well, as you can imagine, nowhere near that amount of money has gone into CIM to do ongoing and deferred maintenance. They're lucky to get 1 to 3 or 4 or 5 million a year to do some small things. So there is a lot of failing components at CIM. I will, though, say that the men and women over there have a mission. They do their best to secure that facility and keep those inmates in there, and we shall see how this plays out. But we will be starting with some of our local elected officials in Chino to state our dissatisfaction with this. And I also can presume that once some of our residents get word of this, that they will not be happy about it as well.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Karen.
Do not ask me any more questions, or I will keep you here, sir.
We hope to see you again next month.
Okay, thank you, sir.
And next, we invite Vice Mayor Art Bennett from the city of Chino Hills.
President Luth, President Evinger, staff, chief. I am so happy that you were able to give that layout of what's going on. It's obviously hasn't taken on into the public yet. And when it does, it's going to be a very, very troublesome thing. You mentioned about a certain prisoner that ended up in Chino Hills. Bill Hughes, whose son was killed during that rampage 40 years ago, died last September and never had closure to this. That individual's been sitting in prison on death row in San Quentin before they decided to turn it into a rehabilitation center. So we have issues within that. So, but on a lighter note, coming up on Friday, this Friday, the 12th, the Chino Hills Community Foundation will have concert number 1 of Costello and Friends. There are still tickets available for that. It will start at 7 o'clock at the community center. A couple other things coming up. We are going to have our annual recognition of volunteers. We will have a volunteer dinner coming up later on this month. That's going to be on Thursday, the 25th. And please save the date for our State of the City, which is coming up on Tuesday, August 30th. We'll start at 5:30, and it will be at the community center. Other than that, I want to thank both Mike and Sarah for your constant support and being in the back of the room, watching what's been going on with our protesters that have been constant visitors to our council meetings. I think we keep thinking it's going to go away at some point in time, but we're taking a harder stand now, and we're getting more criticism for it, but that's the way it is. If it's not something that's city business, it's internet, or it's foreign affairs, there's nothing the city can do about it. And I know that Chino's been grappling with the same thing. I was talking to Eunice about this just recently, and you're taking the same kind of position. We just can't get into that, because if you do, then it opens up any subject in the future that people want to decide to talk about that isn't really city business. So at any rate, thank you for your unwavering support. Thank you for getting some additional visitors there last night for the meeting. And Jeremy, I think you didn't draw the short stick too bad last night. It wasn't quite as long, but at any rate, we always appreciate the fire department being present there to give us an update on what's going on. And again, Karen, thank you so much for that history of what's going on at CIM, because it is an issue, and the community is going to start hollering when they really realize what's happening to us. So, but anyway, that's all my comments. Thank you very much for allowing me to speak tonight.
Thank you.
Do we have any other liaisons present who would like to address the board at this time? Okay. All right, seeing none.
Okay.
Consent calendar is the next item on the agenda.
All right. Do we have any public comments on the consent calendar?
We have no request to speak on the consent calendar.
Okay, do any board members wish to pull any items? Seeing none, look for a motion.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Director Krieger, a second by Vice President Ramos Evinger. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? So item carries 5-0.
The next item on the agenda under new business is item number 7, resolution number 2024-06, properties declared for weed abatement. Purpose of this report is for the Board of Directors to review, approve, and adopt resolution number 2024-06, identifying properties throughout Chino Valley Fire District to be noticed in accordance with ordinance 2022-01 for weed abatement. Report tonight is by Fire Marshal Danielle O'Toole.
Good evening, President Luth and members of the board. Ordinance 2022-01 prohibits the accumulation of combustible vegetation that can be deemed a fire hazard. We strive to take a consistent and aggressive approach to our annual weed abatement due to our wild and urban interface. Before you this evening is Resolution 2024-06 and a list of properties throughout the district that are declared for weed abatement. Our spring inspections will begin in early May, and our fall inspections will begin in early September. Any properties found to be non-compliant will be sent a notice to destroy weeds. The notice will outline the actions that need to be taken, the deadline for compliance, and information related to the public hearing. Throughout the coming year, we will hold a minimum of 3 separate public hearings to allow property owners to address the board on the matter. The public hearings will be held in conjunction with the specific deadlines outlined in the notice. Since the resolution declares that the identified parcels contain seasonal and recurrent nuisances, if a property receives an initial notice and a public hearing is held or waived by the property owner, we are then able to send an abbreviated postcard to that property owner, and we can take action without any further hearing. All property owners failing to abate the noted hazard by their reinspection date are subject to an administrative citation and abatement by our private contractor. Exhibit A that is attached to the resolution references all the listed parcels within the district. A full list of the parcels is available at our admin office as well as posted on our website. It is recommended that the Board of Directors review, approve, and adopt resolution number 2024-06 regarding the declaring and noticing of property owners for weed abatement.
Do we have any requests to speak?
We have no request to speak on this item.
Okay, any board members have any comments or questions?
I just have one question. It's a 1,000-page document here, and it seems it lists every single parcel in the Chino Valley. I don't recall that being the case previously, so.
So back in 2022, when we adopted our ordinance specific to vegetation management, we were attempting to streamline the process. So previously, the process was we would have to bring a resolution before the board after we conducted our spring inspections, which kind of didn't allow enough timing for staff and really property owners to abate. So we were always kind of under the gun in regards to the deadline. So the ordinance has kind of streamlined it in that aspect. And it also allows us that as long as the parcel is listed, that's why we list all the parcels, when we get that one-off complaint, we can then take action on it without having to bring a resolution before the board.
And so is everybody, every parcel gonna receive some sort of notice now or not?
No, so what will happen is we bring the resolution forward, you guys, essentially, if you approve it, it allows us then, if we do notice a violation during our spring inspections, we send out the bulk initial notices to destroy. So for instance, last spring, we sent out over 2,000 notices.
Okay,
Yes, but prior to this, so it was about maybe a month ago, we did send out our courtesy cards. You'll see our banners out there encouraging the public to take action in regards to our upcoming inspections.
okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
Move to approve.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Director Howie and a second by Director DeMonico. All in favor? Aye. Item carries 5-0.
The next item is item number 8, resolution number 2024-05, approving mid-year budget adjustments as budget amendment number 3 for fiscal year 2023-24. And the report tonight is by Finance Director Mark Shaker.
Thank you. Budget development for the 24-25 original budget is already well underway. We had a long meeting today for getting a draft ready. In the meantime, we're now in April, and it's a good time to look at the 23-24 budget and make mid-year adjustments to reflect actual projected financial results for the remainder of the fiscal year. The attached draft resolution 2024-05 would authorize budget amendment number 3 with a net favorable budget adjustment of just about $902,000 based on additional revenues of roughly $2.9 million compared to additional net expenses of $2,030,000. The associated details are included in the attached table 1. As always, the most significant proposed adjustment this time, at this time of the year, is a result of higher than budgeted mutual aid revenue recoveries, as well as the overtime costs associated with mutual aid. Typically, we budget a flat $500,000 for mutual aid because we just can't predict what's going to happen with fire season, as well as an increase to our workers' comp insurance expenses. We're seeing higher trends in workers' comp as compared to last year, so there are adjustments to bring that up to what we're experiencing currently. Other notable adjustments include a positive adjustment to interest revenues of an additional $538,000 that we're expecting due to favorable market conditions and increased investment activity, as well as an adjustment for the revenues we're receiving for reimbursements on some staff on Confire assignments. That is about $358,000 year to date. Also attached to the report is the updated 2024 amended budget information incorporating the impact of all of these adjustments, so you could see where we're at after these adjustments are posted, should they be approved. With that, that's the end of my report. The recommendation is that the board review and approve resolution number 2024-05, which would adjust the fiscal year 23-24 budget through budget amendment number 3.
All right, do we have any requests to speak?
We have no request to speak on this item.
Okay, now's the time for the board to comment and ask questions, and we'll start with Director DeMonico.
I have no questions.
All right, Director Howie.
Looks good to me.
Okay, Director Creeder.
Yeah, I have a question on, no, I'm kidding. I'm not kidding tonight.
Okay, Vice President Ramos Evinger.
No questions that we discussed already, so.
Yeah, right, I agree. So, yeah, I have no questions. We just reviewed this not too long ago in our finance meeting, so. All right, I would request a motion.
Motion to approve?
Okay,
I'll second it.
okay. So we have a motion by Vice President Ramos Evinger and a second by Director Krieger. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And no, item carries 5-0.
The next item is item number 9, resolution number 2024-04, allocating surplus funds to reduce pension liabilities through budget amendment number 2 for fiscal year 2023-24. And the report is by Finance Director Mark Shaker.
Thank you. So, as all of you know, the district adopted the Chino Valley Fire 115 Retirement Trust, which we use to augment our pension investments compared to what we have with CalPERS. And with that, we have a retirement funding policy where up to a third of prior year excess revenues can be considered for allocation towards this trust or towards the reduction of pension liabilities directly with CalPERS. Based off of that calculation, the district's annual audit for the fiscal year 22-23 was completed last December. And as a result of this audit, there was about 4.8 million in surplus. Of this amount, there was about 613,000 attributable to a one-time prior period audit adjustment. So when making this calculation, I try to back out one-time things that aren't going to happen again. One-time audit adjustment certainly fits that category. So adjusted for this, the entire surplus was just under 4.2 million, and 1/3 of that is $1,399,474, up for consideration. If approved, staff would recommend continuing last year's motion to direct the full amount to the Chino Valley Fire District 115 Trust, and the attached resolution would currently reflects last year's motion. So resolution number 2024-04 would authorize the funding of this amount from unassigned fund balance as budget amendment number 2, and that would go directly to the trust. It's important to note that in the past, we have considered a 50-50 split, half of it going to CalPERS, half of it going to the trust. I think sending it to the trust last year did pretty well for us, so the recommendation is to continue that practice. We have more control over the trust, and it has seen more consistent gains versus some of the volatility on the CalPERS end. So that's the end of my report. I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right, do we have any requests to speak?
We have no request to speak on this item.
Okay, so now's the time for the board to comment and question. Director DeMonico.
It's just a comment that I'm glad to see it going into the 115 trust, because I was a real big proponent of that before, and I think we do better than CalPERS with our money, and we have more control over it, so thank you for that. That's my comment.
All right, Director Howie?
No comment?
Okay, Director Krieger.
I'm pleased as well that the board is not kicking the can, down the trail, that we're addressing the unfunded liabilities, and we're utilizing, surplus money to build that up over time. So can you tell us roughly how much is in that 115 trust at this point?
We just recently crossed the $10 million mark, and I think maybe 10.2, but that fluctuates monthly.
Yeah.
And that doesn't include this.
This does not include.
Excellent, thank you, Mark.
All right, Vice President Ramos Evinger.
No, we discussed this as well in finance, so I thank you very much for all the work on this, on the staff report.
Thank you.
Yep, I would agree. Yes, we discussed it. We talked about the split or not or what, and appreciate, Mark, your input and suggestions. And so at this time, I would request a motion.
Motion to approve?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion by Director Howie, a second by Director DeMonico. All in favor?
Aye.
Item carries 5-0. Let's see here. Okay, now we're on to Fire Chief's comments. Chief Williams.
Thank you, President Luth. As I've already stated to several of you, the report's a little bit lengthy, so for streamline purposes, I'm just going to highlight the significant events. On March 21st, we, staff and board members, attended the Salute to Public Safety Luncheon. Great opportunity to just to acknowledge our folks that are doing good work here in the district, so a second thank you to them as well. On March 22nd, we had a meet and greet with Senator Sayarto, and we did have several staff attend that event. And thank you to Senator Sayarto for his continued support of the fire district. On April 10th, which was today, we had our joint budget management review, and so all staff gets together and forecasts and puts their input for the next budget. And so thank you to Mark and your staff for, and Jeremy for that matter, for keeping us in line and on task with that meeting. Under organizational items of interest, the clerk of the board staff attended the City Clerks Association of California annual conference in San Diego, April 4th through 6th. Staff earned points towards their municipal clerk certification and enhanced their professional skill development and studied new trends in technology. So, Angela, thank you to you and your staff for always looking forward and keeping the district in a good light. For the human resource update, I will give it over to Human Resource Director Anthony Arroyo.
Thank you, Chief. On March 25th and 26th, interviews were held for fire recruit. On March 27th, interviews were held for part-time office technician who will be assigned to HR. Second interviews were held on April 9th, yesterday. March 28th, interviews were held for support services technician. An offer has been made to the top candidate. And on March 26th, HR staff, Angelica De La Torre, attended the SDRMA Spring Education Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony. For training in EMS, we're very, very happy to report initial feedback being received regarding our new communications report, and meetings with captains and staff is going well. Many of you have seen our daily and weekly reports that have been coming out, and all the reviews are good, and people are having an opportunity to stay up to date with the latest and greatest. So thank you to all staff who've helped to make that successful. We intended a meet and greet with Senator Sayarto on the 22nd, as mentioned. Met with Chino Hills staff regarding emergency evacuation plan, or planning, rather. And we also conducted a joint labor management meeting regarding a draft operational plan for staffing on a go-forward basis. Also, we conducted a request for qualifications process for potential construction contractors for Fire Station 68 project. We attended on March 25th, staff and I attended a meeting with Senator Padilla's office regarding congressionally directed funding. And moving over to CONFIRE items of interest. There are 65 members working on the implementation team to bring this project to fruition. CONFIRE EMS and mobile health offices are currently located in the city of Redlands while working on the long-term lease agreements. So the city of Redlands was so kind as to allow us to have a spot at one of their buildings at a low cost or no cost. And so those folks could continue to work on this project on behalf of all the CONFIRE partners. The public affairs team is working with local fire chiefs on a social media video release, which you may have seen that went out today. And we're currently preparing some responses to some of the input that's being put out there. Let's see here. Also, the implementation team continues to meet with area stakeholders, including all hospitals within the community, as we seek to work collaboratively to improve patient outcomes and experiences. And finally, CONFIRE EMS and Mobile Health has been engaged heavily in talent acquisition through a robust hiring initiative. CONFIRE has upgraded 2 key leadership positions and filled both positions with internal promotion and outside hiring processes. In addition, the private side of the Alliance model hired a total of 5 full-time key leadership positions, with several more slated in the next weeks to come. CONFIRE continues to work towards HR recruitment plan over the next several months to ensure they have the staffing to meet the needs of our communities at large. Under upcoming meetings and events, on April 16th, as was mentioned earlier by Mr. Ralston, is the Donate for Life event. On April 18th, Cal Chiefs EMS section in the South. April 23rd through April 26th, we'll be attending the FDAC conference, and I will be speaking at that conference regarding our lobbying efforts and how we were able to secure funding. And I'll be speaking to, hopefully, a lot of other fire chiefs who may have questions about the process. And myself and the Rojas Communication Group are putting together a presentation so that we can assist them wherever that we can help them be successful in their efforts as well. On April 27th to the 27th, the annual corn feed run. On April 30th, Chino Hills State of the City event. And on May 3rd, there will be a check presentation with Assembly Member Phil Chen regarding his support of our request for funding for our fire station. And that concludes my report.
All right, thank you. Now it's time for board comments. Director Delmonico.
Attended a couple of meetings with IEUA and Board of Supervisors and really have no report on that. But I do want to comment on the Salute to Public Safety. I thought that was a really great event this year. Change of venue. Almost drove to Los Serranos, but I remembered to go to the community center. But that was a really nice event, and it's getting bigger every year. And also bigger with the recipients, because now we're including the prisons as well as our local police and fire. Also, I did attend the event with Senator Serrato, and it was kind of nice. Talked to him for a few minutes. He and I go way back. He was a fireman in Englewood when I was in Hawthorne, so we were there at the same time. And I know our roads crossed, and it was kind of nice, just kind of reminiscing with him about those times. But other than that, that also concludes my report. I have nothing else.
Thank you. Director Howard.
Thank you, Harvey. First of all, I want to congratulate James Jenkins. Had the opportunity to work with James over the years a few times, and he's one of those guys you got to like. And he was very professional, and he did a great job for the county and for our area. So congrats to him. Hate to see him retire, but good luck. Attended Chino Days in Chino. We had also the dinner for the special district dinner. It was in Chino also. Most of us attended that. A couple of Chino council meetings attended. The Salute to Public Safety again was great. That was it's been going on for so many years, but it's still an excellent event. Also with Senator Ciarto, saw him. Also went to Sacramento for the Education Day with Director Krieger. We were up there. Met with the fire chief. Let's see. Oh, then I mentioned the CIM meeting yesterday. And thank you for Mayor Pro Tem for giving us that great. And actually, I had a chance with Karen to walk over it. We had a tour. She gave me a tour a couple of years ago. On a hot summer August day, we got to walk the yard in with the prisoners at CIM, and that was interesting always. And you're right. You had a lot of history. Have a lot of history with the prison. Thank you for that. And then I think that's it, except I do want to invite everybody to Rancho del Chino Rotary Club is having our annual bingo. It's coming up May 6th at Brenderson Hall. 10 games of bingo and dinner. It's Bingo de Mayo is what we call it, because it's always right around Cinco de Mayo. And so that's coming up May 6th, and I know our new Rotary member, Sarah Evinger, will be there helping out too. So, so if you're
selling tickets, buy them from me, not from Tom.
no, that's okay. You can buy your tickets from her, although my name is on the person to contact. But either way is fine. Okay.
How much are the tickets?
Tickets are $30 unless you're over 55, and it's $25. That includes dinner and 10 games of bingo. It's a great evening.
Next year I get the deal.
Huh?
Next year I get the deal.
Oh, yeah, next year, right, yeah.
All right, Director Krieger.
Yeah, I attended many of the same things that everybody else did. Chino Hills meetings, something new last night. They were talking about a new community building and the splash pad down at Pinehurst Park. So looking forward to seeing the fruition of that over, I'm sure it'll take several years for that to come on board. Attended the grand opening or the groundbreaking for our new Confire building in San Bernardino. They claim that will be up and running in like 16 months.
90 days.
Yeah, short amount of time. School board, there's some union stuff going on with their negotiations, and the school district headquarters will be moving soon in the next few months to their new facility.
I attended the LAFCO meeting with Director Evanger, Director Luth yesterday. It was quick. It had to do with the Chino part of taking over some land that's in the county area. Honestly, I didn't understand half of what they were talking about, but it was educational. And as Tom said, we went up to Sacramento for the SCRMA claims day. That's our insurance carrier. So that was good. Attended the Kelly Ciarto meeting as well. Salute to public safety and the special district dinner that was hosted by IUA here locally. So it was a busy month and it's not slowing down. So that's it for me. Thanks.
Thank you. Vice President Ramos-Evinger.
Okay, I also attended Chino Days, which I enjoy doing, and our BCSD meeting, got that right. Salute to Public Safety, it was a great event. And I too, I'm really appreciative that we're starting to that we brought CIM and CIW in to recognize them as well, so that, because they are a part of our community. And we had our finance committee meeting. I had the meeting with the fire chief, our agenda review. I had a fire safe council meeting, the LAFCO, and a couple Chino Hills council meetings. And I just want to, like everyone, congratulate James Jenkins on his retirement, and thank the district once again for being a part of the Donate for Life and flying the flag on there. And in regards to the splash pad and the new community center, I believe that Supervisor Hagman is allocating some funding for that for our city, so thank you very much. Thank you to him for that, thank you. And that's all, thank you.
All right, thank you. Attended ASBCSD, couple of Chino council meetings. Salute to public safety, as always. It's a great event. So glad we participated in that and the opportunity to attend. Earlier that day, I was at the San Bernardino Airport Commission meeting, and recognized James there as well, as so we could recognize him in front of some of his peers with the plaque, and then we of course invited him here. And yeah, we're gonna miss James. He's been a good supporter. He is such a quiet, humble man. He knows his business. He just knows how things work. I'm always amazed that he gets asked these questions. He just knows things, so he will be missed. Attended the Senator Ciarto meeting, finance meeting, agenda meeting, chief meeting, CIW, which has another warden change going on in spite of the last one, who said he was gonna be there 3 to 5 years and didn't last 3 months, so we have more changes there. LAVCO meeting, yeah, that was interesting. Chief, I appreciate the communication reports. Got our first weekly one, and look forward to how those continue to evolve and the information we're gonna receive. Did those go out then to our city agencies as well?
The weeklies will at some point. What we wanted to do is we wanted to iron out some of the bugs internally first to make sure that the product that we actually want is the product they're gonna receive. So yes, that will happen here in the next month or so.
Okay, so look forward to that. Hopefully you'll find those of benefit as we are here on the board. Nice to see Robert here, the Donate Life thing. Glad we support that. Let's see here. See, on the 27th, yeah, the corn feed run, please come on out. There's over 700 cars and vehicles are registered at this point. And there'll be a lot of food, corn from Rotary. So, yeah, we hope. So come on out. And the last thing I want to note is that if you saw the champion after all the voting was done, there was a picture in there of people working at a polling booth. And one of them was Charlene King, and I can't remember who was there with her. But in the background was one of our employees, our clerk, was in the background there. She didn't want her picture in the paper, but she made it. Congratulations, thanks for volunteering and helping out in that way. And with that, this meeting will be adjourned to a regular meeting of the Board of Directors of the Chino Valley Independent Fire District to be held on Wednesday, May 8, 2024 at 6 p.m. at the Fire District Administrative Headquarters located at 14011 City Center Drive, Chino Hills, California 91709, and we are adjourned.